The fear of families starting out initially in the 70s and 80s was that if they homeschool their children, they could actually be taken to court and their children could be removed because that's what they would threaten. Who is going to do that? Who's going to take that chance? Well, the pioneers did.
There really was no homeschool landscape when we started. There was no support. We had no friends who were doing it. And so it was very lonely and it became hostile very quickly. We applied to our school district, who immediately turned us down, not because we hadn't met the letter of the law. They just didn't like homeschooling and they were making a statement. I remembered that the state superintendent of education had known my mother. So I went up there and I really expected him to say, Zan, you are a mother who loves her child. You've done all the right things. You've had him tested. Instead, he looked at me and he said, if you continue down this path of homeschooling, I will have you put in jail for truancy. I just remember saying to him, you'll just have to put me in jail. It was not that I felt brave. I was scared to death, but that was my Patrick Henry moment. For the first time, it threw me into a deep study of the Founding Fathers and our founding documents, the Declaration, the Constitution, what were the ideals we were founded on, what were inalienable rights, how do you make a stand for freedom? We eventually were allowed to homeschool that first year. Then the next year is when the State Department of Education began promulgating regulations. We went through 2 years on our own of trying to get a good homeschooling law passed. When this bill passed and became law in 1988, it was amended to say that people without a college degree had to make a passing score on the education entrance exam. There was nothing in that a homeschooler needed to specifically know to be able to homeschool well. Because it's offered so infrequently, it became a real problem. And everything we tried failed. I knew at this point what it meant to be persecuted. And we were willing to keep fighting toward the end to get good laws passed. So nobody else ever had to go through this again. At this point, somebody suggested that I call Mike Ferris.
Zan Tyler and her husband Joe are some of my best friends in the whole world. They fought the fight for homeschooling in South Carolina. I think she's so courageous that she'd have done it even if nobody helped her. But it's so much better when you have people that are willing to link arms with you.
For the first time, I felt hope. Like I had somebody who understood this process, who could walk with us. HSLDA ended up filing a class action suit over the EEE. They were keeping people out of jail and they were keeping people homeschooling. But there was no long-term sustainable fix. Then I got the call from HSLDA. I'll never forget getting the call. They're yelling over the phone. I can't even figure out what happened. Zan, we won the EEE. And I will tell you, it was the sound of freedom because I knew with the EEE out of the way, I'm thinking for the first time in South Carolina, we might be looking at the light at the end of the tunnel.
Long after all these fights were pretty well settled in South Carolina, I got a text from Zan and Joe's son, John.
My name is John Tyler. I am a second-generation homeschool dad / homeschool husband.
I have memories of going in the underground tunnels to come up the steps.
I mainly remember pretty normal childhood stuff. It's sort of when you get older and start to reflect on certain things. For instance, when I was making my career decision in college, ultimately I felt the call to be a lawyer. I minded my own business, practicing civil litigation for 10 years, and I get a call. And the call is from someone that I know is about to get elected to serve as superintendent of education. And I know what she wants to talk to me about. She wants to talk to me about being the general counsel for the South Carolina Department of Education. All of a sudden, this homeschool kid is put in the seat of the one drafting those very memos that had been the reason that homeschoolers were getting removed from their homes and put in foster care.
It's vindication. It's God's sense of humor. I thought it was hilarious.
It was amazing to be part of that.
If you had told me in the early days of homeschooling this was a movement, I would have laughed at you. We were just trying to keep our head above waters. It was a bottom-up movement. It was moms and dads all over the country being willing to take a stand in order to homeschool their children. At the heart of it, we loved our kids, and I would have moved heaven and earth to do what was best for my children.
Zan's one of the earliest examples of a really important story of a courageous individual who stood up and by standing up became a leader and others followed.
These people that started, the original people like Zan Tyler and others like herself, that were willing to stand is the reason we have homeschooling today.
To homeschool in freedom without prosecution or persecution is entirely different than homeschooling when it's legal and there are resources and you're not worried about somebody taking your kids in the middle of the night. I just know how awful it is without an advocate.